Merry Christmas, everyone. Thanks for joining us for the next few hours as we dive back through some of the very best of our shows over the past year. Drive took the Premier League launch party to new heights, live from the roof of the news building. A great atmosphere, big opinions, and a very lively start to the new season.
We should start off by saying, thank you for our live students for coming down, so well done for that. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're not, today's the day you need to turn the telly on, turn YouTube on and have a look, because the setting behind us is fantastic. We've got wonderful weather, albeit slightly breezy, to say the least, up here, but we've got a wonderful audience, and every single one of the 20 Premier League clubs, or 19, Aston Villa failed to show.
Oh.
How ironic's that? Ooh. Yeah, well, we have...
Oh, here he is, here he is.
We have booked Gabby Agbonlahor.
Is it?
Where?
Walking in, Villa.
Oh, round of applause.
There he is, right?
What a surprise, late to the party again. So there you go, all 20 clubs are represented this afternoon. Yeah, take your time, we're only live.
No jog,
So
no.
I wonder what time they start. Yeah, it's 4 o'clock every day. So we'll be going through a whole host of questions from you lot. You'll be asking us questions, we'll be asking you questions. It promises to be a wonderful, wonderful show. Before we start talking about the Premier League, just a quick word. Where are the Spurs fans in the...
How are you, Spurs?
Yeah, I'd keep quiet if I were you. The Spurs. Where were you yesterday? We should have a... Okay, don't kill it. Yeah, we've only just started the show. Yeah, I see that, yeah. Almost looks real, that shirt, as well. We should talk about Tottenham from last night, because a lot of people online and social media were saying very, very Spursy. I thought they played quite well, actually, or unlucky. A couple of Spurs fans have said to you, we didn't lose, it was a draw. They lost on penalties. But I thought it was a new-look Spurs, and also I thought it was a Spurs side that had an idea of how to play the game. I thought that was missing last season.
Yeah, I thought they played really well. Unfortunate, of course, last 15 minutes has cost them. But you're right, Thomas Frank, obviously new ideas, new system, 3 at the back as well. I thought they played really well. When you play elite level football, do you know what I mean? Against arguably the best side in Europe. I know they've only had a week back, but you know what I mean? The last 15 minutes, they're the most important parts. And PSG switched it on. The substitutions I thought were massive. I thought potentially maybe Thomas Frank got those wrong, whereas I thought PSG got theirs right. And it paid dividend because they got the result in the end. But I think if you're a Spurs fan, it does bring me back to memories though. You remember when Ange first got the job?
Yeah.
And they got beat by Chelsea. And they got beat 4-1. I think they were down to 9 men.
Yeah.
And a lot of Spurs fans left the stadium saying, optimistic, do you know what, this is the right time.
Smile on their face.
Smiling.
Yeah.
It had a little bit of that feeling to it, because even though they got beat, they're still thinking, do you know what, there's real belief in the squad. So I think if they still add 1 or 2 more additions, because I still think they're a few players short, I think if they add 1 or 2 more, like if they get Eze over the line, then I think they've got a chance of having a really good season.
How devastated were you last night they lost?
I was devastated.
I'll tell you what, on the WhatsApp group last night, Benny, I've never seen anyone text so quickly. It was like that. We'll talk about Spurs a bit later on, because we are looking ahead to the start of the Premier League season. It all kicks off tomorrow at Anfield as Liverpool face Bournemouth. It's a game you can hear live on talkSPORT. How excited are you, Benny, that the Premier League is finally back? Because we were quite lucky with the summer. I think it was one day where there was no football. We had quite a lot of football, but nothing really beats the Premier League, does it? Huh?
A bit overload?
No, not overload.
No, listen, I'm excited. I'll tell you more after Sunday, obviously, when we play you lot. But yeah, the Premier League back, all the signings, Liverpool, big signings as well, people like Wirtz. Bournemouth, how they're going to do as well, considering they've lost a couple of players as well, a couple of good players, by the way. I think 3 out of their back 4's gone now. Yeah. So that's going to be interesting as well. But you're right, Premier League football's the best league in the world. I think all the teams you'd expect to strengthen have, even your lot. All of a sudden, I mean, you had the bet, didn't we? When Man United finished top 8. I'm now starting to quiver a little bit.
Just a loud yes, if people agree with you. Do people think Man United will get top 8 this season? Right, keep your opinions to yourself there, Right, let's start with the champions, Liverpool. They kick off the season against Bournemouth, as I mentioned. It's live on talkSPORT tomorrow night. We can hear from the boss, Arnie Slot. He's been speaking exclusively to talkSPORT's Danny Murphy.
Do you feel individually yourself a different pressure now because of the success? Because a lot of people, including me, beginning of last season was thinking you're going to need some time, and then you go and play so well, you win the league, and now the expectation, but the pressure on yourself, I mean.
Yeah. No, I think last season I also felt pressure on myself, because everybody maybe didn't expect a lot, so that also comes then with a certain pressure, because everybody was after Jurgen, it's impossible. I think now we might need more time than we needed last season, because the manager changed, but the players stayed the same. Yeah. And I've said many times that the playing style between Jurgen and me is not so different that it takes ages for them to be adapted to.
Yes.
Now players need to adapt to each other, And we also brought different profiles in, so we cannot compare Florian Wirtz with any player we've got. Yeah, maybe with Harvey Elliott, but he didn't play that much last season. And Jeremy Frimpong is a completely different profile than Trent Alexander-Arnold. Yeah. So this is something that might need some time.
You can hear that interview with the Liverpool boss, Arne Slot-in-4 on the breakfast show tomorrow morning from 6 with Alan Brazil and Ray Parlour. In fact, let's stick with the title race as we head into our... It says here, brilliant audience. There's no sign of that yet. Are you a brilliant audience? Yeah. Are you going to cheer whatever I ask?
Yeah. Serious question, though.
Oh, yeah.
Why is Villa not sat down yet? Why is he still standing there?
I think Villa are nervous at the start of the season. Do you want to? Oh, you'll be in the Championship next season. Let's go to Angelina. She's in the audience with who I don't know. She can tell us more. Angelina, who have you got?
I have got an Arsenal fan. I've got Tom Canton from the Gooner Talk. Now, I know you've got a question for Andy and Benty, but we've got to ask you the burning question. We hear it on talkSPORT all the time. Arsenal always the bridesmaids. Are they going to be the bride?
How many titles have we won? I think we've been the bride pretty fairly, you know.
It's been a while, though.
Okay, right, you know, it's been a while.
Let's be honest, amongst friends.
Yeah, sure, but I think that Arsenal, of course, are one of the favourites, always going into these seasons now. Mikel Arteta has taken them to that level where they're constantly competing and they're just so ever so close, and they've just got to take that one last step.
We'll take it away with your question for the guys.
So I think a lot's been made of Arsenal as a team and of the manager as well, and they're kind of talked about as who's to blame as to why they've not quite got there. Do you think for you, is it a personnel issue or is it a manager issue as the primary reason they've not quite done it yet?
I think it's more personnel. I think, as you said there, people don't understand the state Arsenal are in when Mikel Arteta got the job, and it is his first job in management as well, and I think he's done a wonderful job, but I do think maybe potentially in the transfer market we've addressed the wrong areas. I think finally this summer we've addressed it, the centre forward, but I think at times we were stockpiling defenders, then midfield players, then wide players, and yes, as a team Arsenal score more than enough goals, but you need that one player down the middle, I think, where games are tight. We saw it last season, prime example where it's 0-0, no one's really taking that chance. You need a striker that's maybe going to sniff out the opportunity, and hopefully Gyökeres is the one. So I wouldn't say it's any one person to blame, but I always think that centre forward should have been addressed a couple of seasons ago.
Tom, can I ask you a question? All jokes aside, right, if you finish second again, is that good enough?
Depends what else happens in the season.
If you have a repeat season, so what you got to the last four of the Champions League, right?
Yep.
And you won, what was it you won? Oh yeah, nothing, sorry, my mistake. If you have that season again and finish second, is it Arteta in, Arteta out? Is this his last chance, do you think?
No, I think he has to earn the next contract, and I think he's got 2 years on this contract, and he has to deliver a title in this or the next season.
Do you? I'll ask Benty first. You can answer as well. Do you think the players that have come in? I think you were really lacking a number 9. You've got that now.
Yeah.
Do you think you've got the right personnel in? Do you think the squad's ready to win the Premier League this season?
I think so. I think you've got the centre forward.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. Because we've got the centre forward. What are you laughing at?
Yeah, no, I thought you were joking.
Centre forward. I think Madueke is a really interesting signing because. Me and you, how many times have we sat on the show and we've said Arsenal play Saka game after game after game, no rest, gets the big injury. Now Madueke can play both sides. Zubimendi's come in, he's looked really good pre-season. So Kepa, I know you always laugh at Kepa, but backup goalkeeper, you need 2 good goalkeepers. So I am really happy with the Arsenal signings, but I don't want to see too much pressure on Gyökeres because yes, we know he's a centre forward, but we can't expect him to go and score 40. Other people have got to contribute, but I'm really happy with the business they've done.
Tom, it's a big game you got at the weekend, your opening game away at Old Trafford against Manchester United. How important is 3 points for Arsenal in that game?
Yeah, massive. I mean, in general, Arsenal got a really tough start with the first 6 games. So you go into a place like Man United, you want to get started, you want to see Gyökeres scoring immediately, and of course players like Zubimendi hitting the ground running, that's going to be really important. And it's a ground that we've really struggled in, to be honest, in recent times, and getting a win there to kick off the campaign would be massive.
Give a round of applause for Tom, he was fantastic. I hope you're all as good as Tom, apart from the Villa fella that's still at the back.
Welcome back to our Christmas coverage. Plenty more still to come.
Yeah, this is Sunday Edition with myself, Sean Custis and Henry Winter. And for the next hour, we are joined by our very, very special guest, Baroness Brady of Knightsbridge, also known Karen Brady, West Ham vice chair, who must have woken up this morning and thought, oh no, I can't believe I've offered to go on talkSPORT or agreed to go on talkSPORT this morning. You must have felt like keeping your head under the pillow after yesterday.
Well, I wish yesterday could start all over again. I mean, it's so tough to take. It's never easy for the supporters, the players, the manager for a 3-0, particularly the opening game of the season. But look, I spent a lot of time with the manager and the squad in America on the pre-season tour, and the spirit amongst them is fantastic. And I know that they'll be more disappointed, that they'll be the most disappointed people this morning. And I know we'll see a reaction, and I'll know they want to turn it around, and they want to turn it around quickly.
I remember you telling me you were going on the tour this summer, and you maybe haven't done that before with West Ham. I don't know, but what do you learn going off on a tour like that? And why, if you like, why did you? Were you checking up to see how things are?
No, it was the Premier League Summer Series, and it's a really important part of being involved in the Premier League to actually go and talk to our broadcasters, talk to our sponsors in America. Our biggest support base outside the United Kingdom for the club is in America. So being out there, seeing how different people operate, getting to meet people, taking the club to, out there was a really important part. And what you learn about the dynamics of the team, the makeup, the spirit, the togetherness, the harmony amongst the team. I've never seen it as good as that before, and I was really thoroughly impressed. And the pre-season tour was so well organised. It was brilliant. So we had a really good time.
You've had a little bit of disruption, which ended up with good news in Lucas Paquetá being cleared of any match-fixing allegations and being reintegrated into the team, knowing that you're going to have him going forward, providing you don't sell him, of course. Did that make sort of preparation difficult in that you didn't actually know whether he would be playing or not?
Look, it's been a really tough time for Lucas. I mean, it's such a serious allegation, and it was, really hanging over him. And the FA were going for a worldwide lifetime ban. So the seriousness of the situation was incredible. He was, from day one when the accusation was made, absolutely resolute in the fact that he had nothing to do with this. And actually, there was no evidence that he had anything to do with it. So it came as a real relief. But we always took the view that we completely believed in him. We stood right the way alongside him throughout the whole scenario. And my advice to the manager and to him was just to carry on until we know any different. And that's exactly what we did.
Could he take legal action? Because it's effectively a restraint of trade. And also on the back of that, do you think that there should be some protocol in place that it doesn't take so long?
Could he take legal action? I don't know. I don't know what his personal situation is. I think initially the pressure of the case, the relief of the result. I think you then think about what next. But the impression on him is immense. I mean, the thing that is very difficult to understand is that the case is all about the balance of probabilities. It's not beyond reasonable doubt, which is a much higher bar. Is it 50-50 likely he did something, just slightly more than 51% likely, and then you're found guilty. So the bar is really low. But the FA didn't prove their case. There really was no evidence against him. And he proved his innocence, and I'm so pleased for him.
But it went on too long?
Well, it was a long case. I mean, it was a long case. Obviously, the football season was in the middle. He had to do it around his games. He had to give evidence himself. I think there were lots of reasons why it took a long time. He would have liked it to have gone much quicker so we could get it out the way, but it's not really in our control on the timings.
There's been a lot of talk about whether he'll stay at West Ham and suggestions, even last season, that he could have gone even to Manchester City. Can you be sure he's going to stay at West Ham?
I think he wants to stay, and we definitely want him to stay. So the thing is, he'll be staying.
One of the players he did lose was Mohamed Kudus, who played really well for Spurs yesterday and was a very influential player last season. It must have been difficult to lose him. Yeah,
I mean, it's always difficult to lose players that you want to keep. But, the financial restraints and the PSR and all the rules and regulations in football mean that you have to do some trading. That's just the way it is. All clubs are having to do it. You're either restricted on what you can buy because you have to be careful of the financial rules, or you have to sell to try and buy. So that was the decision that was made. He didn't have a particularly good season for West Ham last year by his own standards. So we looked at.
Do you sit there sort of in the summer with a calculator with the rest of the board going, well, if we sold him, that will bring in that amount of money, multiply by that, divide by this? Is it that complicated?
It's getting more complicated. The rules are very precise. You have to be really careful, and you know what the consequences are, as we saw with clubs in the past. The points deduction, nobody wants that. You want to do all your business and earn your points or lose your points on the pitch. You don't want them taken from you. So you have to be really careful. You have to be really mindful, and you have to make sure you abide by the rules.
One of your best players, probably your best player, again, he sort of fought hard yesterday, Jarrod Bowen. Was there, presumably other clubs were sniffing around him?
Well, look, you always talk to the manager about what he wants to do and how he wants to do it. And there's certain players you just don't want to sell, and he would certainly fall in that category. He loves the club. We love him. The supporters love him. He's the kind of guy you can build a team around because he tries so hard all of the time. He's an exceptional player. He's a great captain. He's a pleasure to be around. So no, he's definitely a West Ham player.
His father-in-law is probably fairly useful to you.
100%.
We talked about players who are established like Jarrod Bowen. You also brought in a new goalkeeper who Henry seemed to be punting every week for somewhere to get a move in the.
It's a news story.
I know, but you're working hard on getting him a transfer. What was the reasoning, do you think, behind bringing in another keeper to challenge your established ones?
Well, look, the manager makes a decision about the players that he wants and the positions that he needs, and he felt that he needed to freshen up that area and bring in a new player. So that's exactly what we did. We bought the player that he wanted, and he's a new addition to the team.
In Graham Potter, you have a manager who is described, even by Henry, as a project manager, somebody who builds and works at it. I always think that gives them a slightly free pass, because if you lose a game, you say, oh, well, we're still building, we're still working out how to play. Do you understand what I mean? And has he got that licence to have a bit of time to work it all out?
Look, Graham is a forward-thinking manager. He's sort of calm under pressure. He's very detailed in his approach. He's a great manager of players. He builds a special relationship with players, and they understand where he's coming from. And he has a modern mindset. And all of those things mean that it does take some time to put a team together, to get the team playing the way that you want. I mean, West Ham is not a club that panics about its managers. We tend to support people, stick with them and see it through. I really hope he does well. He's a pleasure to work with. He's incredibly professional. And I know the players respect him. I know his relationship with the players is good. I know he'll be sitting down with them today to have a long, hard think about what went wrong yesterday, expecting a reaction and expecting to put it right.
Do you need more pace in midfield?
I think that anyone would know that the answer to that question is yes. And that's what we're working hard on doing.
Of course, it doesn't get any easier. You've got Chelsea next Friday. That's a tough test when you've just gone and lost to a team that everybody expected to struggle. Now you're going in against, well, the world champions.
Yeah, I mean, we've beaten them before, though.
Oh,
I mean, it's on. That's what makes the Premier League so good. The reason that the Premier League is the best league in the world, the most watched, the most beloved, is because it's so competitive. On any given day, any club can beat any other. And it's not always about the money that you spend. It's almost always about that. But sometimes it's about the magic you create, the chances that you get, the opportunities that you get. You take your luck. So I don't think there's any club West Ham should be frightened of. I mean, some clubs have come with a bigger reputation, but we're not frightened of anybody.
You obviously love football. You married a footballer. Can you enjoy games, West Ham games, because of what it means, the result means financially?
Well, I really enjoyed the pre-season games when there's no pressure. It's really different when you're watching a league game. I don't think people really understand. I mean, a lot of people, they look at club directors and they think we're quite remote, or they think we don't care in the way that supporters care. Trust me, we care. Yesterday hurt us as much as it hurt them. We're always thinking about what can we do every day to make the club better. All we want to do is fulfil all our hopes and dreams and expectations our supporters have. We're all supporters of the club. We're thinking all the time, what do we need to do? How do we need to do it? How can we improve? And when you don't get the results that you want, you're thinking about it even harder. And there is a pressure associated with that, but you do football's only just begun. There's a long way to go. So we still have that expectation. We know this is a good squad. It has a quality about it. And for whatever reason yesterday it didn't click, but it hurts us just as much as it hurts everybody else. But it's our job to go and fix it. We can't sit there and go, oh, well, what you're going to do. We have to say, right, what are we going to do? How are we going to fix it? How are we going to improve things? We know our supporters have huge expectation. We have it ourselves. But clubs that do well are the clubs where everybody sticks together. When things are going good, nobody needs support. It's when things are tough, when things are not going the way that you want, how you support each other, how you lean on each other, how you create a trust circle, an embrace of support. That's so important.
Thanks for sticking with us. Let's get back into the Christmas spirit on talkSPORT, one of our favourite chats of the year. Noel Gallagher on Drive. Football, music, Manchester, nothing was off limits. Noel was in great form.
Today is going to be the
day. Do you know the rest of that?
Yeah. Phoning back to you. By now, you should have somehow realized what you gotta do.
Keep going.
I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now.
How do you know that? I didn't know you knew that.
Yeah, of course, man. Drum roll.
Good one.
I'll give you a Beanie Man tune soon. Sing soon.
Okay, all right.
All right. Jack, I'll get that loaded up.
Yeah, you get that loaded up, yeah. Let's hope you haven't put him off. Still to come, we'll be joined by former world champion Amir Khan, but as if you wouldn't have worked it out with that wonderful version of an Oasis track, let's speak to a superstar amongst superstars. You may have read in the news recently his band's back on tour, but let's talk football to him because he loves Man City. As we say hello and good afternoon to Noel Gallagher. Hello, Noel.
All right, mate. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, just back from Dublin, so feeling a bit shaky today.
Oh, what time did it finish?
It went on.
Okay, has it finished?
It went on. yeah, and eventually finished. We had to get a flight home, but it went on. It went on for a while. There was a lot of singing, a lot of drinking, and a lot of talking nonsense.
I don't know if it was that pub, but there was a famous pub that you all went to that there was loads of TikToks and what was the pub called?
O'Donoghue's.
That was it. It was that one, was it?
Yeah, it was quite the night.
How are you? Apart from that, are you good? Are you well? Are you enjoying life at the moment?
Oh yeah, couldn't be. Yeah, top of the world. Couldn't be any better. Couldn't be any better.
You were nearly going to swear that. Can we talk music first or football first? Where do you want to go?
Whatever you want.
Okay, let's talk music first. I came to see you in Cardiff on the first night, and then I saw you again at Wembley, and I thought both gigs were absolutely incredible. Have you, out of all the gigs you've done so far, are you stunned at just how well it's been received so far?
Yeah, completely blown away. Everyone is. It's difficult to put it into words. Actually, it's kind of every night is just every night is the crowd's first night. Do you know what I mean? So every night's got that kind of same energy to it. But it's been truly amazing. I'm not usually short for words, but I can't really articulate it at the minute, to be honest.
Can I ask you, because I was in Cardiff waiting there for the first time for you to come on stage, I was quite emotional about it. People I was with were quite emotional. I just wonder how you were feeling with you maybe 5 minutes to go and you're on the ramp, you're just about to go on stage with, it was you and your brother Liam and the rest of the guys. How were you all feeling at that moment? Because it was in a moment when no one really thought that was ever going to happen again.
Well, we're not really a band who kind of have huddles before we go on or anything like that. I can't speak for anyone else, but for me personally, I grossly underestimated what I was getting into. It was kind of, after about 5 minutes, I was like, all right, can I just go back to the dressing room and start this again? Because this is way I've done stadiums before and all that, but I don't mind telling you, my legs had turned to jelly after about halfway through the second song, and I could have done with going back and taking a minute, but it's been an amazing thing. It really is an amazing thing.
No, is there a particular stadium or arena that you're about to play at that you're really looking forward to?
You need to take some singing lessons, you mate.
Hey, listen, he was not shocked I knew all the words. He was.
Sorry?
He was shocked I knew all the words.
Who doesn't know the words to Wonderwall?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Is there a place I'm looking forward to playing? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
The River Plate Stadium in Buenos Aires.
Wow.
In November. It's the second last show, and we played there a couple of times, and it's the Argentinians are without doubt in the top 5 places for us to play in the world, and it's the furthest away from Ireland and Manchester. But yeah, everybody is looking forward to the River Plate because it's a special place for us.
Just going back to the gigs you've done, there was that moment at the end of the first gig where, as it all finished, you and Liam were walking off, and you gave each other a little hug. How emotional was that for you? Because it looked pretty emotional.
We're not those kind of guys, really. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of it's great just to be back with Bonehead and Liam, and just be doing it again. I guess when it's all said and done, we'll sit and reflect on it. But it's great being back in the band with Liam. I forgot how funny he was, and
also his voice. Everyone has said, "Oh my God, his voice is unbelievable." And it is.
It's AI.
But do you know what was funny? I was thinking about this the other day when I was thinking, right, the next time I'm going to speak to you, I'm going to ask you this question, because everyone is saying Liam's voice is amazing, but your voice is pretty amazing still as well, right? No one's mentioning that.
Well, that doesn't. I'm the songwriter. You know what I mean? I'm not really a singer, to be honest. But Liam's smashing it. He's. I'm proud of him. He's kind of. Having been a front in a band for 16 years, I know how difficult that is. You know what I mean? And I know, and I couldn't do the stadium thing like he does it. It's not in my nature. But I've got to say, man, I kind of look around and I think, good for you, mate. He's been amazing.
One last question, then we'll move on to football. Lots of talk about the end of this tour, it not being the end. Nebworth's been mentioned. What's your view on when the tour stops?
Right, let's talk about football.
Okay, fine. Are you watching much of it? We had the weekend. I spoke to you over the weekend, but I didn't know. I hadn't looked if you were gigging that night, but I assume you were, right, on Saturday.
Saturday we were in Dublin, and so we've seen City, and we've seen United, Arsenal, and. Yeah, thank God the season's back, and it gives you something to focus on at the weekends. I don't know why this kind of summer I felt it more. I felt missing the Premier League more, probably because we didn't win anything. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like you want to get back into it straight away. But we watched all the big games.
I don't know about you. I do feel that going into this season, usually everyone puts City right at the very top of their favourites, but this season for some reason people weren't. They were putting Liverpool and bizarrely Arsenal in second place and you third. From the majority of people I spoke to, but from the football at the weekend, I thought you looked the best. I know it's early days. I know it's only one game. I thought you looked the best. Do you think there's less pressure going into this season on Man City than there have been for a long, long time?
Yeah, I mean it's all on Liverpool, really. They've spent big, because they never spend money, of course. So they've spent big on, expensive players. It's not like they bought 8 or 9 players. The lad that came from Germany, whatever his name is. They spent big money on him, and he looks a bit anonymous to me from what I've seen. But as weekends go, I'd say yes, City won the first weekend. I was I was pretty amazed at how good and fluid it looked, you know, because usually we start slow. But again, it's kind of like, you know, it's one game and, you know, you don't know what the opponents are going to be like next week. And then, you know, we always say it doesn't really get going till March. You've just got to be there. You know, you just got to be in and around it, maybe 6 points off the top or 6 in front or whatever. But yeah, the new Reinders looked amazing. The keeper looked solid. Ait Nouri looked great. Turkey looked great coming off the bench. It's great having John Stones back. Nobody's talking about Oscar Bob, who was as big a miss as anything for us last season. He was brilliant. So all the signs are good, but I know Pep's like doesn't, you know, first game he's like, you know, we started great last season. Do you know what I mean? We were great until October, November, and then the wheels fell off. But you know, Erling looked sharp. So as weekends go, look great.
You said it there about Manchester City. I thought you guys looked absolutely incredible as well. How important do you think it is then, Noel, that the likes of you, Arsenal, Liverpool, you all have to start well? Because the amount of money that all the teams are spending, it almost feels like if you do drop off early, that you might not recover. So do you think it's important that they all start off really well?
Yeah, quite. Like on Sunday, we was watching the game in the dressing room, and there's Arsenal fans on the crew and the odd United fan. And we were saying the pressure's on Arsenal, really, because, you know, they have to win because all the other teams won. And, you know, if you go 6 points behind early doors and you've still got the big teams to play, I can work both ways, right? You can claw it back. But, you know, Arsenal usually fall behind and you don't want to do. It's almost like now if you lose 2 games, the league's over.
Yeah.
You know, the standard's been set so high. You know, if your first 6 games, you really need to win those first 6 games, you know, to give you the confidence. But I actually think it might be quite close this season. I think there could be the 4 could be in it.
Who's the 4th? Chelsea.
I don't know. I think United are going to overachieve this season. They look really good against Arsenal.
They did.
They look good. They deserve the draw. You know, and.
Sorry, hold on. Are you saying that United might be in the mix?
No, I think they'll overachieve. I think people are saying, well, if they finish in the top 10, but I think they'll take points off the big teams for sure, and I think Tottenham will too, and I think Chelsea will do what Chelsea do. They'll flatter to deceive, but they'll be there or thereabouts. But I think there might be 3 or 4 all the way up to March, April. I think.
I said to Benty yesterday on the show, we were talking about the Arsenal game, and I said that United fans would have come out the stadium, not to do with the result, but the performance, happier. United fans would be happier than the Arsenal fans, because there was quite a few new faces on show for Arsenal, and none of them really looked that special to me.
Well, out of all the teams that I've seen over the weekend, the team that has improved the most was United, who were laughably appalling last season, and actually with Mbeumo and Cunha, and they looked like they look really well. That's to say really good, but they look pretty good, and they deserve something out of that game. And you know, it'll make games against them now a bit more spicy this season.
No, going back to your side, Manchester City now, it obviously looks like Ederson, who's absolutely one of the Premier League greats, could be on his way. You've obviously signed...
Oh, really? Right, okay.
You've signed James Trafford, who's a good goalkeeper, but you're now being linked to Donnarumma. I mean...
I'm not sure City would 50 million on a keeper they can get for now soon. Do you know what I mean? I'm not sure. If we'd have gone to Wolves on Saturday and James would have played and we'd have got beat 3-2 or something, there might be a case for it. But actually looking at him, he just looks quite solid, and he looked good with his feet. You know, he looked unflappable, came for the crosses, caught everything, made a couple of decent saves. Donnarumma was a great goalkeeper, Champions League winner. You know, you can't have enough of them in your team. But he might be great for Trafford to learn off him. But I don't think there's an urgency there. I think we need a right back more than anything. If I were crying out for a right back.
What's happened to Ederson? Because it wasn't that long ago. The discussion was, who's the best keeper in the league? Is it him or Alisson? And now all of a sudden, you know, he's been linked with the move away. Why is that?
I don't know. I haven't got any intel for you there. I don't know.
Do you think his form has dropped now?
you'd have to say a little, yeah. I reckon if you talk to him, a lot of City fans would say yes, a little. He's not been as solid as he was, but that's because the defence in front of him has been shaky. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you know, if he wants to leave, he'll always be a legend. He's one of the greatest keepers we've ever seen, you know, but, you know, we're not going to replace him like for like. The same with De Bruyne, you know, people's going on about Ryander's been a replacement for De Bruyne. You're not going to replace Kev. He's one of the best passers of the ball we've ever seen. But Ryander's has got a little bit of Yaya in him. He's got a little bit of silver in him. He's got a little bit of Gundogan in him. He looks like an all-round player. But if, getting back to Edison, if he wants to go, he should go. You know, we'll clap him out. He's been an absolute titan for us.
Are you happy with where the squad's at then, Noel? Because, again, you looked fantastic. I think Ryander's out of all the new signings has probably looked the one with the real star power. But are you happy with the squad, the numbers? You look obviously going into this season?
The numbers, no. If Pep says it's too big, then it's too big. But, you know, if you look at the players who weren't even on the bench, Rodri and Foden, you know, and there's it's too many. But the quality is unbelievable. And I think once they're all fit, there's going to be a scramble for places, but we don't know what it's going to be like in 2 months. But as weekends go, that's pretty good for us.
Yeah, it was. It really was. Let me ask you about two players. One's still a City player, one isn't. Phil Foden, big season for him. And are you surprised Jack Grealish left or has left on loan?
Am I surprised he's gone on loan? Not after what happened. I think the writing was on the wall after, like, when he didn't get on in the cup final. And I think it's good for Jack. Jack needs to play, and I think he'll be good for everyone once he settles in and they play him in his right position in the middle of the field. And who was the other one?
Foden. I think
Foden.
Big season.
Yeah. He's got a big season coming up for him because because he's so young, we forget that, right? But I think when the team is struggling, Phil's not a player that can drag a team along with him yet. He's too young, do you know what I mean? He's just like a kid, you know what I mean? So I think if the team plays well, Foden will play well. He was brilliant in when he in the treble season and the season after that because the team was purring, do you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, I've seen Phil at Eaton Park when City played there. He knows he's got a big season in front of him, you know, and he's up for it.
No, do you think Jack can get himself back in England squad by playing week in, week out for Everton?
I could not give a monkeys.
I saw you answer a similar question to that the other day. I think it was the other day. I have to say that when I saw you at Wembley, quite a few of the Man City boys turned up, and they all love you, by the way. I was speaking to John Stones for a bit. I've never met him before. What a lovely fella he is.
Mate, honestly, he's just the dude of all dudes. He's the king, man. We love him there. He's just a really great lad, and it's so brilliant to see him back. If we keep him fit and in the team, I think we've got a great chance to lead. But I'm glad you said, you texted me saying what a lovely lad. He is a lovely lad, and he's a brilliant player as well.
He was one of those, because when I was chatting to him, there's a few people in that room that obviously assumed I knew him, which I didn't. And they're like, "Oh, would you mind if my son had a quick picture with John?" I was like, "Not to John, would you mind?" No problem at all. No problem. Chatting to the kids for ages. What a lovely fella, honestly. Yeah,
no, he's great. He's great. He's an example to all the other young lads coming through there. He's like, he's always got time for. Every time I go there with my kids, he's got time for everybody. He'll always come and have a chat, and he's always got a smile on his face. Yeah. And he's not, Pep loves him. He's not really a troublemaker or anything. You never hear anything about him. He's just one of those great, majestic defenders, yeah.
We're back. More festive highlights from across the year coming up. Sticking with the big names, Morgan Gibbs-White joined us for an exclusive. Here he is discussing his ambitions for his club and his country.
I think obviously every Forest fan watching pre-season wasn't too impressed and was a bit worried come the first game of the season, which is understandable. But for me, pre-season is all about minutes and getting the right minutes in your legs to get ready for the start of the season. But with the way we're trying to approach this season is we're still trying to keep the foundation of what we did last season as our main goal, but still trying to improve and get better in having more of the ball, having higher possession, and trying to create more chances. So yeah, that was our whole main goal, and I think the first half against Brentford was the pinnacle of what we're trying to do, what we're trying to build on this season.
You mentioned there sort of a lack of goals pre-season. None other than Chris Wood, turning up again. He scored twice. I think he's got 91 goals. Do you back him to get to the Premier League 100 club pretty soon this season?
100%. I think without a shadow of a doubt, he'll get it this season. He's an incredible guy and an incredible striker. And I think people need to start giving him his flowers. I think he's got a good team around him that are able to give him the chances that he needs to get to score goals. And whether they're half chances or full chances, he takes them, and it's shown on the weekend.
Now, there was a point this summer where, of course, lots of Forest fans didn't believe that you would captain the club for the opening game against Brentford this season. There was talk of a move to Spurs. Can you just talk us through a little bit what happened that summer and what's behind your decision to stay at the club?
I feel like every footballer has personal goals and personal ambitions that they want to achieve. Mine's winning trophies, playing in the World Cup, playing in the Euros, playing Champions League football, just to be able to reach the maximum that I'm able to reach. But obviously in the summer, everybody's seen what was going on and whatever. But away from that, it was a really difficult period for me and my fiancée. Obviously having my second child, but there was a few complications with all of that. So that was my main focus in the whole of what was going on. And I tried to just stay as professional as possible in that situation, and just being true to myself and what I believed in. And I believed in being professional, showing up every day and letting everything else take care of what it needs to do. I'm a firm believer of everything happens for a reason. And I'm delighted with my decision, more than happy. I think my fiance is even more happy because she didn't get to carry on with all the stress, and she was able to successfully deliver our little boy without any of the stress. So I think that was one of the main reasons, was to just take off all the stress away from my fiance. And to me, my family and my kids are the most important thing in the world, and then comes football. So I had to put them first. So yeah, it was really stressful, but I'm happy with my decision.
Great stuff. Now, you talk about your personal ambition. You arrived at the club when they're fresh into the Premier League. We're obviously looking to survive. You've been an integral part, captained the club to be in Europe for the first time in 30 years. Since you've been here, you know the story of the fans, almost being has-beens, talking about glory days in 70s and 80s, but we're still here. With nothing having changed. What have you noticed that's changed at the club in terms of the mentality, and how does the club's ambition match your ambition to want to be playing at the very top?
I think it's just the belief. I feel like there's no belief outside of Nottingham. But as soon as you step inside Nottingham, everybody believes, everybody's confident. And we have this fire and will to prove all the doubters wrong. So every time people are doubting us, whether it'll be on whatever or wherever, it's you know what, we're gonna show you. And I feel like last season was the pinnacle of that. We got voted off at the start of the season last season, saying that we're gonna go down and this and that. But again, we've proven people wrong. And I feel like that is the moral of this team. There's people that have been at top clubs and then it's not worked out there, and they've come here, and it's again proving people that I can do it, we can do it. And I feel like this season is going to be really special, really, really special, being back in Europe for over 30 years. And it's something that we wanted to give back to the fans, because they're the ones that have struggled throughout that many years,
Yeah.
So to be able to say that we're the ones, with their help, the owners' help, the managers' help, with all that, we're able to give back Europa League football, European football, is a really special feeling, and we're really, really proud of that.
I was at the City Ground on Sunday, and you talk about the fans and the level of support that the club gets. Is that something that you felt particularly on Sunday? Because, of course, a lot's been made about the interview that you did with the owner of Andros Marinakis, How are you feeling about all that?
I was never worried about how my relationship was going to be with the fans because I've been through what we've been through with the fans, so I know the feeling. And if their feeling is the same as mine, then it's only going to be positive. Just because of what we've been through, battling relegation, sticking together, proving everyone wrong, and then coming out on the better side. But people are going to have their opinion, and that is completely fine. I understand it, but at the same time, I've got to look at what's best for myself and my family. And I feel like every decision I've made it on my own back and the help of my family. And I've not once regretted any decision that I've made in my career so far. So I'm going to stick to what I believe, and everything happens for a reason.
Great stuff. Now, again, going back to your idea of ambition, we've seen that ambition from the owner, from the club, investing in lots of new players in the past week or so. There's been a flurry of new signings. How exciting is it for you going into a European season? How's exciting to have those new players, and what is the goal this season for Nottingham Forest?
Well, talk of it being exciting, I think now we're at the stage where it's the quality of signings that we're bringing in. The likes of Amari, Maka, Cali, Douglas Luiz now. It's exciting, and it's going to be good for the team because it's competition.